Hello everyone, Yuji is indeed here for the Mid-Pack episode 5. Alongside me, as always, is the one and only Redis Sus. How are you today, Sus?
Doing well, doing well. Glad to be here for another episode of the Mid Pack.
Good, good. Right, I feel like we should just get on into this, right, and go into some F1 news that's popped up this week. So,
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, I know that we've recently been quite kind of F1 heavy, but you're remiss not to talk about this. So we're at the point in the year where the F1 teams have started releasing or kind of announcing their kind of new cars for the upcoming season. So generally speaking, around about this time of year, they'll release the cars and then they might do one or two kind of quick shakedown filming runs before we go into proper preseason testing. And then obviously after that, straight on to the races. So it's always a very exciting time of the year. It's basically when you think kind of the winter break is over and like F1 is coming back soon. So always very exciting. Um, I guess in terms of the actual events, the actual like reveals as such, they're not really kind of particularly useful in gleaning any kind of information about kind of car designs and like the competitive order and things like that. It's more just a bit of a show-offy thing and the drum up interest.
yep, so we've had two launches this week, McLaren, and on screen now we have AlphaTauri. First things on AlphaTauri, I am not a fan of this year's livery as opposed to last year's one. I feel like the white with the blue highlights works much better than what is currently we have. Like it's on the top it's very blue. Let me try to get the side profile. Here we go. So in the side profile, you see like the top is blue and then underside is white. It's not a bad livery. I think it still works. I think it's a down step from last year where it was all white with like blue highlighting the um sponsors. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I don't like that blue. Like in these kind of almost like CG graphics ones, the blue to me just looks completely off. I just don't like that color at all. Um, on the real photos, like the actual press release kind of the photo pictures as well, like for example the one that's on screen at the moment. I think that looks a lot better. So it might be a case that it looks good in real life, but the renders definitely don't look good in my opinion. And yeah, for some reason I completely agree with you. Like I think the white one of last year's was just better. Um, but just getting ahead of ourselves a bit because it's basically just the color scheme. And like
Yeah,
what's important is more just how good the car is and
yeah.
things like that.
Literally, these launches are just last year's car with the new color scheme, or if there are any changes to the color scheme, and to introduce the new drivers or introduce the line as drivers up again. And speaking of which,
Yeah.
AlphaTauri do have a new. They have replaced Danny Kvyat with. I am sorry, I'm going to butcher this name. Yuki Tsonda. I think that's correct.
I don't know either, but I would say Tsunoda.
Sonoda.
But anyway,
That sounds more correct than what I said. I think. Who is? I think he's 20 years old. So very young. Did pretty well in the in Super Japan Formula. So that's and obviously because of the whole Honda connection, that's why he's been drafted in for to take the second seat alongside Pierre Gasly. Um, yeah, I think over what did you make of the AlphaTauri launch?
I don't really know because yeah, as you were saying earlier, a lot of these kind of launches are just like last year's car with a few additions and a different color scheme. And I think that's especially true this year because there's so little changing in the regulations from last year to this year, that you essentially cut a bit off the floor, and that's basically like a legal car for this new season. So I think in these kind of cases, yeah, it's we can't really glean very much from the actual launch. However, there is one thing that I did want to mention about this particular launch. So if you did not know, AlphaTauri is a fashion company. It's owned by the same person that owns Red Bull, and people who know F1 will know that they also own this Formula One team, which used to be called Toro Rosso. Um, but anyway, so they've renamed it AlphaTauri to promote their fashion brand, which is already in my book a very strange thing to do. But the next part is like the actual launch itself. So they've got a few images of the car as expected. They've got a few images of the drivers as expected. They're in their overalls and things, but then they decide to put this picture up on their website,
This okay. Wow, this is the first time I'm
which
reacting to this, so
which, which
that
is just
seems very awkward.
it's F1 it's F1 drivers pretending to be models wearing presumably AlphaTauri uh apparel. Well, I don't know what the word is. Um, but it's just so strange to see them not in a racing suit or not in like a kind of formal smart kind of wear like Ferrari used to do their launches in. So yeah, it's very strange. We've got here Gasly on the right wearing a bath mat, basically. And
It's very good. I like that. It's very much like a bath mat.
yeah, and then we've got Tsunoda on the left here wearing like a £10 blanket
I
from
think
Marks and
this is no. This is
Spencer's.
something your grandpa would wear. That's what it's like. He's wearing a grandpa sweater. So that's and a
Yeah,
turtleneck underneath. He
yeah,
does not look
it's just
comfortable
really
in this picture at all, does Tsunoda?
no, neither of them look comfortable in this picture at all. They're probably just like, what the hell are we doing? Uh,
I did become an F1 driver for this. Oh
yeah,
god, that is not. That is. Yeah, that is not a look. Is there any other pictures down here?
I think that's pretty much it. There's so if you can look in the background, you've got like they've looks like they've recreated like a shop
Yeah.
where they've got like racks of clothing and stuff. So they're obviously trying to play off this. And to be fair, if you've invested this much money in the brand, then why not? But it just seems a little bit strange. We've got Dark Lord Samuel commenting Tsunoda Potter,
How short is
so
this guy?
that's pretty good.
Well, F1
Yeah.
drivers are not known to be tall. They tend to be quite short guys. I think Jensen Button is one of the tallest at 5'10", 5'11" ish, and everyone else is. I mean, F1 tends to favour shorter guys as is. Um,
Let me just Google that.
yeah. And just on
Uh,
Samuel's other comments, say Kvyat rubbish anyway. Give the kid a chance because you're not winning anything anyway. It's well, they technically that's incorrect. Gasly did win Monza last year, so they did win something. Kvyat didn't have a bad season. I thought he did. I thought Kvyat was all right. It was just Gasly did amazing last season.
yeah, I felt like Ashley kind of gave up a little bit. He meant like, in my opinion, he just like mentally checked out.
You mean
But I
Kvyat,
don't
not
know.
Gasly, right?
Sorry, did I say? Yeah, I meant Kvyat.
Yeah, yeah.
Just kind of like checked out and just kind of didn't do badly, but didn't really do anything else. Yeah, I've just Googled Tsunoda's height, and it's 1 meter 59,
That's quite short.
which is quite short.
I think that's someone that AJ is finally taller than. I think yeah, AJ's been complaining on a lot on our football chats about how everyone is taller than him. And then finally he's taller than someone. So don't know if AJ's in chat, but if he is, here's someone that you're taller than. All right, okay. I think that's probably enough on AlphaTauri. So let's move on to the other team that launched their car, which is McLaren. Again, they basically stuck with their papaya orange and blue. I'm surprised they kept the blue, seeing that they're no longer affiliated with Renault. You'd think they'd go with maybe a.
Is that, sorry to interrupt, but is that why they stuck with the blue?
I. That's why I initially thought they went with blue. It was like because when they were with Honda, Honda was powering the engines. Okay, initially they were like a black color, but they did in the final season of Honda engines they were orange, but didn't have any blue anywhere. And then when they switched to Renault engines, that's when the blue was introduced.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
that
didn't
is
know
why
that.
I assumed they went with blue. But I'm surprised they've stuck with blue unless there is another sponsor that is blue with them. Um,
Yeah, it could be.
Honestly, the color schemes worked. I think the papaya orange is iconic for McLaren, and apart from that, it's arguably they had one of the prettier cars on because of that color scheme on the grid. There probably wasn't any reason to change it, um, other than possibly adding some silver or black for Mercedes, which is now their new power unit.
Well, that's an interesting point actually, because basically from what I've read, it's kind of interesting in the sense that so they've swapped from Renault to Mercedes in terms of their engine supplier, but there is not a single Mercedes or three-pointed star logo on that car anywhere.
No, there is
I find
not
that,
one. I cannot find any on any of
yeah,
their
which I
pictures.
find really interesting, because you'd think that Mercedes maybe would want their branding on someone else's car.
Because
Um,
they have actually on like the Williams and the form and what was formerly known as Racing Point, did have Mercedes branding on their car.
yeah, like McLaren, Mercedes, they've worked together in the past,
Quite.
especially when I was young and growing up and watching F1. Like I think the first few years I confused them into one company. I thought they were called McLaren Mercedes.
Well,
So,
actually, I think that they when it was Mercedes did buy shares in McLaren. So Mercedes did own, I think, between 30 to 40% of McLaren.
okay,
This was back in, I think, 99, 98 when Mika Hakkinen was winning the championship. They bought Mercedes bought some shares in McLaren, and it was only when McLaren started making their own sports cars did Mercedes sell back their shares, as they thought it was a bit of I think it
conflict of
was
interest.
exactly, yeah, that was it. Um, so yeah, it is surprising that they haven't put any Mercedes logos on it. You'd think. I don't know if there's any overalls. No, we've gone past there. Let's have a look at. I think there's one image here of which I cannot enlarge. But here's an image of both Danny Rick and Lando Norris standing alongside the new car. I don't see any. Admittedly, the quality's not great, but I don't see a Mercedes logo anywhere on the race overalls. I think the race overalls have changed slightly. Um, I used to think that there was a bit, well, unless I'm misremembering, but I think they were a bit. There's more orange on those overalls previously.
Um, yeah, honestly, I can't remember. Yeah,
Samuel says, "Isn't the deal for the isn't it isn't it's in the deal for the engine and McLaren do really well this year. The McLaren logo, Mercedes logo will suddenly appear." I'm not sure that's how it works. I think that's more a joke comment, but yeah, um, I'm pretty sure that if they would if it was in if it as part of the deal with the engine, I Mercedes would stipulate that they would have Mercedes logo somewhere, or I guess if it wasn't a part of the deal, McLaren are under no obligations to display it.
yeah, agree. Also, actually, just going back to the AlphaTauri bit, I just noticed that the wheels are painted white, which are quite usual.
Okay, let's
Um,
go.
and kind of matching the color scheme, which I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've noticed that for a lot of cars.
Oh, the wheels themselves, yeah. That's
Yeah, the
yeah,
rims.
the rims. That's a good point. Yeah, not don't normally most of the time it's just black rims. You don't norm.
Yeah,
That's
or silver.
or silver.
Anyway,
Yeah. I kind of like that the white rims actually kind of I kind of like that. I'm still not sold on the blue top white under even under this real on the non CG render that we've got on screen. Um,
yeah,
it's not
we'll
bad.
see.
It's much better than the render, yes, but I just don't think it's as nice as what it used to be.
I think by the end of the season we'll have changed our minds and be like, oh, we hate last year's one. This year's
Yeah,
one's amazing.
we shall
I
see.
think, yeah, cool.
All right. Okay, I think that's enough of F1. So I think actually we want to pivot from McLaren's F1 to a new McLaren car, the McLaren Sabre, which is 218 miles an hour. I think 800 and something brake horsepower. Um, MSO is special operations, so we don't actually. But basically, what that means is, if you feel your McLaren is not special enough, you go to McLaren Special Operations and they pimp out your car as they would. I think this is
Yeah,
supposed to
so
be based on a Senna, but the front of it doesn't look Senna-esque. It looks a bit more 750 or even 675 LT kind of front.
Yeah, so is that right? So you can take your existing McLaren to them and say what you want done to it, and they'll do it for you.
Pretty much, it's kind of like it's like how I think it was it Pininfarina would take your Ferrari and like put body kits on it and slash make it cooler. I think that's how the P there was like a P50 or
Oh, the
something.
4/5 or something.
Yes, the P4
Something
slash 5, yeah, where they basically
something
took
like
an
that.
Enzo and put a body kit that was reminiscent of the original P4 Le Mans car. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is McLaren Senna. Actually, fun fact: this is in fact the fastest McLaren that does not have three, well, that only has two seats. The F1 and the Speedtail are faster, but they of course are three-seaters. So technically, this is the fastest two-seater McLaren um, that you can buy.
That's the most useless stat I've ever heard.
It's very useless, but interesting. What
Uh,
do we think about it? I
like, oh
think
yeah, this is the fastest McLaren with red wheel arches. Like,
actually, I
like
should just bring this up.
you
Did you
could
bring
make
up the
that up.
red? Sorry to cut you off. I just bring this up. The red. I actually do like this color scheme because it's very reminiscent of the 1988 Senna MP44 um, all
Really?
dominant.
You think it? Oh, I
I,
only just noticed that when you said that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think I think that's what they're paying homage to
Uh,
here because it's
there's
the
too
red.
much for me. There's too much black in this. That for me,
Hmm.
that McLaren is basically purely red and white. Like, yeah, there are like logos in black, but and the suspension's in black and the tires are black, whatever. But I don't know. I think the livery on that one was just red and white.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The actual body of the car was just red and white, but there's some logos in black, and then obviously um the wheels and stuff were black. But yes, no, you were right. But I still think that this is a homage to the MP4, the Marlboro color scheme that McLaren's used to run on their
yeah.
race
So
cars.
sorry, go back to the first picture if you can. Just wondering, are those wheel arches functional in the sense that are they like fins or is it just like a paint scheme to make it kind of look different?
I think it's a paint scheme, but
Yeah.
it's hard to tell, especially from this render.
Yeah, because I was wondering if they were like aero devices or something. Um, but anyway, no, fair enough. Kind of looks like paint here, or
I
at
think
least
it's definitely
like
paint.
not
Hopefully we can
functional, at
find
least.
another pic from the side. The interior, just the interior looks like the Senna interior here. That's from
Mhm.
the three quarters. Again, I think the back, that the rear diffuser looks very much like the Senna diffuser.
Yeah, the wing kind of looks like the center wing, apart from they've just kind of stuck it back to the body on the sides.
Yeah, it looks more like the Senna GT, a bit like the Senna GTR wing, I think.
Yeah.
Um, that's another from the side. I think more from, look, if you remove the black out from this side-on view, it's almost the exact replica of the Marlboro color schemes.
Mm. Yeah, I'd
And
agree.
that's some cam. This is some camo livery on it. Here looks even more like a Senna than it does.
Yeah, so basically it's those wheel arches.
Yeah,
That's it. Funny.
yeah, and then we're back to the
Yeah,
beginning. Yep. So we are kind of used to like McLaren kind of putting out some kind of MSO special edition every year, but I think that's their one for the year. I'd be interested to see if they do an MSO version of the Speedtail. I'd be surprised if anyone who can afford a Speedtail, they're like, the Speedtail's not fancy enough for me. I wanted to fancy it up even more.
yeah.
Any,
Yeah, the only other comment I have is if you go back to the picture with the door open,
oh, sorry, I think it's this way. There we go.
yeah. What really, really surprises me about modern day supercars at least is just how kind of small the compartment for the people are. Like if you look when the door opens, like basically the whole tire's width of what looks like body is actually not body at all. It's just part of the door. It doesn't kind of hold it together structurally at all.
Mm,
All of the strength and stiffness of the car is kind of created by that inner piece where all the people sit.
yeah, I
I find
think
that
it's what
amazing.
I think McLaren have that special technology called the carbon fiber tub, which I think is patented to them, where the whole structure of the seating compartment is basically all is where all the rigidity of the car. Well, I say all, the majority of the rigidity of the car lies in this carbon fiber tub section.
Mm.
Anywho, I think that's enough on McLaren. So I think we'll move from McLaren to their greatest rivals. I think you recall we were talking about how a Mondeo SUV was made, and Ferrari are now getting in on the SUV game. Called the Ferrari, releasing a car in 2022 called the Ferrari Purosangue SUV. It will go head to head with the Aston Martin DBX, the Lamborghini. I forget what it's called. The Lamborghini's.
Urus?
Sorry.
The Urus?
Yes, that's correct. The Urus. So we and the Bentley SUV as well. So it'll be based on the Roma GT, from what I hear. The drive will be a 3.9 liter V8. Um, here we can see basically they've what we found is there's been some spy photos of the Purosangue in its camo livery going around. I'm kind of
Yeah, so
torn.
I
No, go
just
ahead.
like to say that the Roma GT is like a two-door sports car, isn't it?
Correct.
So what? They're basing their SUV on a two-door sports car
I mean,
basis.
if you check out this render, it's basically the front end is very much similar to the. I think it's I think it's very much very similar to the Roma GT front end, just a bit bulkier to match the SUV
That's just
look.
a that's a Roma GT with a lift kit. Like, what the hell is going on?
That's why I say
I
it's
just
very much a based on the Roma. I think it's
Yeah,
giving it a
that's
kind
stupid.
word.
I feel like if you're going to make an SUV, then you probably should make a dedicated SUV. Like if you're going to do it properly. It's my take on it. Because when Porsche first started, when they made the Cayenne, didn't just take like a 911 and put it on stilts. Like it was different. And yeah, okay, people didn't like it, but it's kind of proven the world wrong up until now anyway. Oh my God, that rear.
The rear does not look nice. I'm not a fan of. I don't think Ferrari should be making an SUV. I can understand why they're doing it because obviously you want to probably increase profits, trying to appeal to a larger market, and saying it's always a bit of a snobby thing to say I have a Ferrari, even if it is a SUV Ferrari. It's still you can say I have a Ferrari. That's something that you can say, something on the bucket list to tick off, I suppose. Um, yeah, the rear end
I
doesn't do it for me
really,
at
I
all.
really hope this is just someone being extravagant with their Photoshop skills because it just looks awful.
It's not good. It's
It
it's
looks like they've grafted the rear end just like in the middle of an SUV. So where the bottom of like a normal car is now halfway up the SUV.
yeah,
It's just wrong.
yeah. It just I don't like this at all. It's just, none of even the front end. I like the Roma. The Roma GT is like a very nice looking car. Just putting it like making it bulky, putting it on stilts just doesn't do it for me. It just makes it like I think hopefully the cam from what the camo footage looks like, it does look a bit different. Like the grille looks a
Looks a,
bit
yeah, it looks almost like that Alfa Romeo SUV. What's it called? Stelvio? Something like that.
um, a little bit.
Roofline,
I
a
was
little
going to
bit.
say the front grille kind of reminds me of an Audi, kind of
Mm.
like the big kind of grille here, this bit here on it's very I think
Yeah,
reminiscent of an
Audis are well
Audi
known
grille.
for their trapezoid
Yeah.
style grills. Yeah. Yeah.
If there's and yeah, the back on this looks much better than the render I think here in the camo. Doesn't look as toggled on.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Yuji, we're gonna have to admit that we Googled how to pronounce this name.
Yeah, we did. We did indeed. Google, how on earth do you pronounce this? Like,
Yeah.
when I first looked this, I was like, I don't know how on earth you say this name, which I think I hope is like what you're trying to lead on is to a little quiz I'm about to give you. So,
Sure.
okay, what I have is let me get this thing up, and also any viewers can see you can play along, but there's a in the Coventry Telegraph. Um, so this is very obscure. Have you ever heard of the Coventry Telegraph newspaper before?
Can't say I have done.
Yeah, I hope that
Um,
Samidel, if you're in chat, have you ever heard of the Coventry Telegraph? Oh,
oh,
he has. Is it any good?
yeah.
Wow, impressive. So anyway, the Coventry Telegraph did a study on how well or how best newspaper in Coventry apparently. Okay. Is it the only newspaper in Coventry? Uh, but anyway, what it's done is it's done a study of like the most mispronounced car makers, and what I'm going to do now is test you, Red, on how you actually pronounce these names. So
Okay,
first one, okay, I actually first what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe the. I'm not actually going to say the name. I'm going to describe the car company, and
okay,
you're going to try and you'll guess the name and see if you get it correctly, and then I'll
sure.
tell you the percentage of people that don't know the correct pronunciation. So
Okay.
first up, go
Before we
ahead.
start, is this so in terms of correct pronunciation, is that what we say here in UK, or is it how the manufacturer in their native tongue would say it?
How the manufacturer would
Oh,
say it.
okay. That makes it very much harder.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go, let's go.
Okay. First car company, French, have changed their. They used to have an F1 team, and now they've changed their name, their F1 name, to their sports car
Okay,
division.
so that's definitely Renault.
Right. So
But how would you say it in
it is
French?
in
Renault.
it is Renault.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
and 44% of people don't know that did not know the correct pronunciation of Renault.
Sorry, 44% didn't know.
Yeah,
Damn,
that's quite
that's
which I was
surprising.
surprised. I would have thought more people would have got that wrong, but
Yeah, I thought it'd be like up to the 90s
yeah,
then get it wrong because everyone says Renault.
right,
I've heard.
yeah. So next
Okay.
one is a 64% got this one wrong. Um, Swedish Hypercar.
Oh, damn it. So so yeah, it's Koenigsegg, but that's how I would say it. But how you meant to say like
You're actually
Koenigsegg?
correct. It is Koenigsegg.
Koenigsegg.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think people pronounce the e a bit more, Koen or Koenigsegg or something. That's how people got it wrong. Get it wrong.
Nice, got it right by chance.
Okay, next one. I'm not sure even sure how to. Actually, we'll skip that one for now and go to the other one. We were talking about them just in this German sports car company, made an SUV.
That'd be Porsche.
Yep. So you got it spot on exactly, but 76% of people say Porsche.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
pronounce
no,
the
that's yeah, that's something a lot of people in the UK say Porsche. I think I used to say Porsche when I was a kid because that's how I'd heard it said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's next. We'll go. Okay, well now we'll go back to the one I skipped. Um,
Okay.
the something Sondero, made famous by
Ah,
James May.
okay. This is a yeah, this is a trick question. So I think the correct pronunciation is Archer.
Wow,
Yeah,
absolutely nailing these, Red. Yeah,
yeah,
Dacia is the correct pronunciation.
but no one says that here. Everyone says Dacia because that's how it's written on the page.
Yep. Okay, that's I think you're 3 out of 4 so far correct. Going pretty good. Okay, next one is another French car company. Um, if you played Forza or Gran Turismo, I'm not sure if it was in Gran Turismo, but if it was in Forza, where it was one of the, I think it was Forza 4 or Forza 3. One of the Le Mans cars has a 998 rating on this. It has a lion for its
Uh,
mascot.
oh, okay, so that Peugeot, something like that.
Okay, that's one wrong. It is Peugeot. P-E-Z-H-O-H is how you pronounce this. The two is the two things that you how to pronounce it, which is 86% of people got this wrong, and I would definitely be one of them. I would be like, how on earth is I would be like you Peugeot, but it's apparently
Yeah,
with with a Z or Z pronunciation instead of it.
really? So instead of the G, it's a Z.
Yeah,
Okay, no idea.
Kia.
Which Le Mans car are you talking about, by
I
the way, in
can't remember
Forza? I
now.
don't know Forza very well.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna have to load up my Forza again, but it was in one of the maybe it's Forza 2. But when you got to the end levels of Forza, that's one of the cars that unlocked, and it was you unlocked all the Le Mans cars, and one of the
Is it an
Peugeots.
old one? Is it like the 80s
No, it
or
was
90s?
no, it
Or
was
is it
definitely
new, like
it's
2000,
definitely two
whatever?
thousands. Um, but for whatever reason, there was two Porsches. It's not Porsches, Peugeots that had just insane ratings on Forza.
Hmm, interesting.
Probably some probably some deal that they did with Forza, be like, hey, just make sure our cars get it's really high.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, next one. Okay, um, let's, let's see if you get this one. Okay, so 93% of people got this one wrong, and
Oh,
very famous, very famous car company, very famous in rally, the most successful car company in rally.
most successful one in rally.
Had
Okay.
a car that rivaled the Quattro.
Oh, okay, fine. How do you say this? I know the company, but how are you meant to say it?
Well, that's all you got to
You
guess.
listen, yeah. So if you listen back to episode 1, we obviously butcher it because we say it one way,
Yep,
and I don't
we
think
get
that's
it wrong.
correct. Uh, just gonna pretend it's like Dacia one. So Lance, no wait. Uh, yeah, Lancia.
It is Lancia.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much like the what we say
Dacia one.
Dacia is in fact Dacia. Lancia is not Lancia, it's Lancia.
Nice.
Right, three more
People got that
left.
one wrong because they don't actually know that brand, I'm sure. It's not because
Well, yeah, and I think when you see it on it's Lancia. When you see it on screen, you think it is Lancia. That's how
yeah.
phonetically you'd think it looks like. But yeah, no, the Cia is Chia instead. I'm sure maybe if we had any Italian listeners, they probably would just be correcting us constantly.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, you're reading it wrong always.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting to some heavy hitters about this one. 91% got wrong. It is a German car company. They own basically almost all the other German car companies. Got done some emissions quite not relatively recently.
Yeah, so when you said the first thing, I thought I got it. But I'm like, how are people saying this wrong? Isn't it just as it's written?
So yeah, obviously we're talking
Oh,
about VW, but how is it
yeah.
actually pronounced?
I'm not good at German, so probably like just Volkswagen.
So it is Volkswagen.
Oh, it's an
So the
F.
folk is indeed instead of saying folk, which is VOLK, the phonetic
Yeah.
is folks, so FOKES, so forks, and then var, which is correct. And then instead again, it's more of a gun is GUN phonetic.
All right, okay. German listeners would have no trouble with that one.
Exactly. Right, so next, second to last one, 94% got this wrong. Um, South Korean.
Oh, this would be what we call Kia, but
Oh,
how do
actually,
they say?
maybe I've got it wrong. Yeah, I'm not. I'm pretty sure this is
Oh, the other
the
one. Do
other
you
one.
mean
The other South
Oh,
South Korean company.
goodness me. Like, that's impossible. Well, we call it Hyundai, but what would they call it?
So it is in fact
Uh,
Hyundai.
and okay.
Hunday. There's the two phonetic sounds. So yeah, Hyundai. So yeah, I'm not surprised that
Mm.
94% got that. I'm surprised it was only 94%.
Yeah, like who got it right?
Yeah,
Well, like South Koreans.
those 6% of people who are South Koreans who live in
Yeah.
country. So, and the final one, another German car company, not Volkswagen, not Mercedes, the other one. And 95% of people got this one wrong.
There's two more I can think of, so I don't really know which one you're talking about.
It's
Um,
they were in F1. I think they were initially they were with Williams and then they moved to
oh, so
Sauber.
you mean BMW? I
Exactly, and
see.
you've got it wrong.
Go on.
It's
I'm not gonna know.
BMW or V. I think it's BMW.
The V.
Yeah, it's so B there's B double E, then EM, and then V E E. So I will get this up on screen now so that for you to see. Give me a sec.
I thought it was like I thought the W was like short for working or something. Is
Yeah,
it a
that's what I thought
V?
as well. But no, it is apparently pronounced BMW. I think it's V, but on screen to me that looks like V, but maybe it is pronounced V.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God. Oh, because it's an acronym, I'm I give myself like half marks on that because it's not really their name, is it? It's just like it's three letters.
yeah, it's an abbreviation of their name really.
Oh, you didn't do Skoda. Oh, I
Oh,
was
I missed
wondering if
Skoda.
that would come up.
I forgot Skoda.
I
Yeah,
was wondering if that would come up, and I was like, how do I do Skoda if that comes up? I was genuinely thinking that. I thought I put a H in it, so maybe
yeah.
that was close.
So yeah, I think you did pretty well. You got Renault, you got Koenigsegg, got Dacia, Porsche. I think I'd be surprised. I'm surprised 8614 got Peugeot correct. Well, see,
Yeah.
I can't even do it. Peugeot, Peugeot. I think it's
So I don't know. Yeah,
and
I
yeah,
don't know.
and then Volkswagen. That's very subtle. That the VW one, like Volks instead of Volks, is it's more German. I think that's more. It's more just you need a German accent for that. Anywho, I think on that silliness, I think it is time to end. So, thanks everyone for watching. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you can, well, first of all, why aren't you? Go do it. Uh, and that way you can actually catch up on any of the episodes. Um, and also, if you're not following me on Twitch, why aren't you? Like, instead of me reminding you, you can actually get your notifications. And while you're following me on Twitch, don't forget to follow Ancient Jedi for great Pokemon and Apex Legends and Star Wars content. And also, finally, Dark Lord Samuel has a Twitch channel where he's currently doing I think a Zelda Let's Play, where you can watch him turn the land of Hyrule into the dark abyss that Samador lives in. And with that, that is a bye from me. Anything else you want to plug, Red?
Yeah, I'm good. Uh, if you are listening to this, consider following UG's here. We do want our viewer, sorry, our followers numbers slightly elevated, so do a couple of things on Twitch. So
Yeah. All right, and also you obviously want to see Haunted pop up on screen. We haven't had Haunted pop up on a screen for quite a while, so if you're watching this and aren't following, you're denying the viewers Haunter. So it's just shame on you for not letting the world see Haunter. All right, okay, I think that's us done. So UG is no longer here. See you guys next time.